Hi, hello, my name's Ollie Bliss and this is my channel Book Draw. For those who don't know, I enjoy looking at queer fiction and occasionally I create images out of it. Today I'm doing a tag, another wonderful tag, and this one I'm particularly proud to be taking part in. So this is the Pride Flag book tag, which has been originally created by the wonderful, hilarious, ridiculously energetic Common Spence. So please check out his channel, please check out his original video because he actually goes through the history of what the Pride flag is all about and all the layered meanings behind each of the banner of the colours. So I won't go into those, but they are great and I will make reference to them through this tag. I was also tagged by the wonderful ChrisViglante to take part in this one. You should also check out his video. He is a bundle of energy in his own little way, and also his responses are brilliant because it introduces a lot of books which I have not come across before in any kind of previous tags, and he's always finding great queer content, so definitely do check out his video too. Anyway, on with the tag. So Common Spence has cleverly aligned each of the colour layers to a question. So the first being red, which is life, and his question is, a book with a spirited protagonist, totally proud of who they are, someone who gives you life. Oh yeah! So I cheated a little bit. I didn't choose the protagonist, but I chose someone who really does give me life, and that is Lafayette Reynolds, who is a part of Suki Steakhouse series, who first appears in Dead Until Dark, which is by Charlaine Harris, and you might be more familiar with Lafayette, who is in the series True Blood, but in terms of the character and the voice, that person really gave me life. In terms of being incredibly masculine and incredibly feminine in equal measure, but being really brave and really brash about it, holding no graces, just being purely themselves and authentic in everything that they did. And also being actually quite compassionate to other people, but also being incredibly sassy and fierce. So if there was ever a character who gave you life, Lafayette was as well. But I also want to take a moment to recognise that the character Lafayette in the series True Blood was played by Nelson Ellis, who actually died last year, July 8th, 2017. Someone who gave such incredible energy and character to this person, I felt it was really important just to recognise that for a moment and go, you were brilliant in playing this role, and I'm sorry that you were gone, but you have left a wonderful thing to the world by creating a brilliant original characterisation which I haven't seen in the media before, and I hope that you continue to make waves through that series, and I'm just sorry that you're gone. Which leads nicely onto Orange, or Healing, which the question asks, a book that made you, as a reader, find a deeper meaning or catharsis in your own life.
Now I've had the time of my life.
And that, for me, has to be André Gide's The Counterfeiters. And I have done a full video about this one in terms of looking at some of the themes, but also turning one of the scene into an image, which really illustrates this wonderful moment, a meeting between two central characters. But the Counterfeiters in general discusses what it means to be authentic and real, and the difference between something that rings falsely and what is a true realisation. And for me, that has impacted on my life in terms of the way that I perceive my surroundings and what I hold valuable and what I dismiss as something that I don't subscribe to or buy into. And that has created a lot of healing for me in myself in terms of when people present their ideas or judgments to you, and you actually have an active choice in whether or not you believe them or not. and this book has helped me shape my understanding of what you buy into and what you don't. So the next one is Yellow or Sunshine, which is a book that fills you with so much joy that it could brighten up your darkest day. And for this one, I chose a recent read, which was The Brightsiders, because this was just glorious. It was so nice. And it's a really brilliant story in creating a new dialogue for younger people about how to take ownership of their own life, reject the haters or the bad influences, and be able to live a great version of you. It was a bit of a wild adventure. It was quite nice to imagine yourself in the shoes of someone who is a famous singer going on tour with their band and creating new lyrics and just being an excellent musician, and also having quite a cute romantic relationship. And there was drama in there, but it was never so much that you felt like it was taking over or it was uncontrollable. It was just a kind of encouraging, spirited romp of a story. So the next one is Green, which is nature, and this is a book that is set out of this world, a reality different to our own.
It looks like an Enderman in Minecraft, but he doesn't have a tail.
I chose A True Story, which was by Luciana of Samosata back in the 2nd century AD. But this is quite an important bit of queer fiction, because this is described as the first sci-fi, but also with queer themes. So the lead character, Lucian, and a bunch of travellers are off on their merry way, and a whirlwind typhoon picks them up and transports them up to the moon. And on the moon, there is an all-out war going between a bunch of men who represent the moon folk, who are in a war against the sun folk. And Lucian is able to demonstrate his prowess and ends up being married off to the king's son, who's a prince. So it's the first kind of known speculative fiction, and it also carries some queer themes. Next one is Blue, which is peace, and this question is a book where one of the characters finds peace with a difficult truth.
Hedgehogs get cancer and rabies. Hedgehogs eat their own babies. Hedgehogs defecate while they run fast.
So I chose Noches Buenos Aires by Gilbert Adair, which focuses on Gillian, who is in the 1980s experiencing the dawn of the kind of AIDS epidemic, and people around him are dying, his really close friends, and he feels a lot of internalized guilt and shame about his sexual identity, about his sexual preferences, and also a great amount of fear in terms of that particular time. But this story demonstrates how he has to face some of those fears and face some of those truths, and how he comes out through that, and how he kind of feels a sense of, I don't know, a sense... It's very difficult to describe, a sense of acceptance for the position of who he is in the time he is, and how he is determined to basically live. And that is a really tricky truth, as particularly in that particular period of history. It's only quite a short novel, and when I first initially read it, I felt like the ending was kind of problematic, but it's the type of book that if you take some distance away from, you can kind of understand how he did accept the truth by the end of it. So this is a tricky read, particularly from a distance and particularly in the time that we are now, but it's also a truth which I could relate to and understand. Then finally, Purple, Spirit, a book that deals with LGBTQ plus themes and religion.
You want to be flipping your nap from top to bottom, back rolling it and laying it out, and doing my layout from top to bottom.
So I chose my favourite book of last year, which is If You Could Be Mine by Sara Farizan. So again, I have also done a full image video on this one, but I thought that this really challenges a religious state and actually looks at the impact that has on individuals living in a religious state, and basically how they have to survive, and what choices they are limited to by, if they are in a same-sex relationship, they could actually be executed and killed. And an alternative choice that they can make is gender reassignment, so that they can basically live a normal heterosexual lifestyle. It's a YA novel, it's a debut novel, but it has moments where it just allows you to understand and live a different lifestyle in Iran, but also really see and visualize some of the societal structures and fears which are wrapped up within it, and how religion can have such a deep impact on an entire country and place. So this is absolutely fantastic, and I highly, highly recommend people read this one. So there we go. Anyway, that was all of my pride flag. I'm actually an incredibly bad gay who has not got a little flag to kind of wave. So instead, I will show you some footage of where there are rainbows in my life, in my house.
It's so bright, so vivid, double rainbow, it's so intense.
Okay, so that's everything from me. I hope you enjoyed my pride flag tag, my pride flag tag, is that right? I will see you all again real soon. Okay, bye.